This is the first episode of the MMA On Tap podcast where we talk all things MMA. We'll be recapping past fights, breaking down upcoming fights, and just talking about anything MMA related. I'm Jeremy and I'm one of the hosts, and I'm here with my co-host, Walter. What's on tap for today's episode, my brother?
Man, we got Steel Reserve 211.
The classic.
Classic beer. You don't know us, we drink a lot of Steel Reserve.
Yeah, pretty fucked up on it.
Too much.
8.1%.
That's what we look at, and it's high. But I'm on Rate Beer right now.
Okay.
Jeremy.
Okay.
What do you think this got out of 5? Out of 5 stars, the average rating for this.
Well,
now, not what you would give
okay,
because I know you really like it.
Because I was going to give it my rating first, and I give
All right,
it...
let's hear your rating first.
I'd give it like a 4 out of 5 because it gets it fucked up and it's tolerable.
All right.
But the official...
a 4 out of 5 is tolerable.
Okay.
That's not bad. I'll take it.
We'll do it 3.
It's a 4 for me. It's an acquired taste.
All right, yeah, it's an acquired taste.
I didn't like it at first, but...
That's true. But official rankings... I'm going to go with a... does it have like a 0.5 scale thing? Or is it just 1?
It goes down to 0.01, so you don't have to be that specific.
I'm going to go with a 1.6.
Wow. That's really close. 1.49.
Okay. All right. Not bad.
So, if you're interested, try it.
Give it a go. I mean, just a couple brews in, you're good to go.
Pre-game. Yeah, it'll start you out right.
But anyway, so that's what we're brought to you by Steel Reserve today, the classic. But we're here to talk about MMA, and I thought we'd kind of go back in time and think about how we got into it, because you're the guy that introduced me into MMA in 2009. Do you know what year we were in high school then?
2009.
Yeah,
that would be sophomore year.
Sophomore, okay. I remember being at your mom and dad's house, and I was sitting on. You were like, "Dude, check this out." And you showed me on the computer the video of Rampage as the Ultimate Fighter coach, tearing the door down, just breaking the door off the hinges and slamming it. And I'm like, what the fuck did I just watch?
With Rashad Evans.
Yeah, with Rashad Evans. And he was just so pissed his fighter had lost. They had lost like a few in a row. And so he was just like, fuck this, elbows the door and stuff, and then kicks it and just tears it off.
That was probably his best win. Honestly, he destroyed that door.
Versus the door.
Yeah.
But, how'd you get into it? What was the first thing that got you into it?
I was at a buddy's house, and I think it was just on. And these two guys were scrapping, and one of the guys ended up getting finished by an armbar. I'd never seen MMA before, or really even watched boxing.
Did you know what an armbar was? Or
no,
what'd you say?
I just saw him tap. I'm like, dang, that looked nasty, whatever that was. And it's like, that was kind of cool. And then it just ended up watching more, and then obviously drug you into it, and then we just started watching it from there.
Yeah, I remember.
With the greats, GSP and Anderson Silva, it was pretty easy to fall in love with it. More so Anderson Silva.
Pretty much, but yeah, I just remember that season that Rampage kicked the door down. That was a few days before the Ultimate Fighter finale, which was Brendan Schaub and Roy Nelson off, and I remember you were showing me this guy, Kimbo Slice. And I was like, who is this Kimbo Slice guy? And you're like, he's fighting this night, or like in like a couple days. So then I came back over to your house a few days after I saw the video of Rampage kicking the door down. And you're like, check out Kimbo Slice here. And he comes and fights Houston Alexander, who did not come to fight. He circled the cage for like all the rounds. The crowd was booing. Kimbo's trying to fight, but Houston Alexander was like, no, fuck that. I'm not getting knocked out by you. And then the main event, Roy Nelson and Brendan Schaub. But that was the first event that I ever saw and we watched together was that one right there. And I was hooked after that.
Yeah, I guess it did start with that Ultimate Fighter
the
season.
Finale.
Then and just getting into that. And not many of those fighters are around anymore.
That's fair enough. Roy Nelson's now in Bellator, but and Brendan Schaub has his own podcast now because he got whatever. But and then the first pay-per-view we did, that was after that. The next event, I was like, dude, we got to keep doing
Isn't
this.
That GSP?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it was BJ Penn, Diego Sanchez, UFC 107.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
First pay-per-view. And I was stoked for it. That was the first time I went to Buffalo Wild Wings, and we were rooting for Diego Sanchez, which I now regret because
How do you regret rooting for Diego?
Because BJ was in his prime, and then I became a fan of his after he beat Diego Sanchez. I wasn't a fan of his before, and then I became a fan after. And he's won. Has he won since that fight?
Maybe not.
I think
it's been a sad decline.
It's been sad, but you know what? I'm still a BJ Penn fan at heart.
Gotta respect Diego though. The nightmare.
The dream, the nightmare, the
back and forth, the confused fighter.
But yeah, that's how we got into it. But now we're going back to this year, and we're going to start off this year. Walter and I actually decided to, at the beginning of 2017, we're like, we'd make our picks and, talk shit and be like, I got this guy, and we'll do. But at 2017, we're actually recording who we have and, like, seeing who wins. And, like, we have a record right now. And we only do, like, the big fights that we care about. We're not doing any, like, we're not just, like, picking people that we don't know of. So we're doing, like, the fights that we actually know about.
Ranked fights.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're in late July now, so right now, Walter, he has 24 wins, 19 losses, and 1 no contest. And I am leading by 2 wins. I have 26 wins, 17 losses, and 1 no contest. So the last win that I got, do you want to let the people know what we last bet on?
It was Chris Weidman, Calvin Gastelum. I chose Calvin.
Which is a fair pick. I mean, Chris was on a 3-fight losing streak. Kelvin has looked tremendous at welterweight. But how'd you feel about the fight?
Exactly how I went. I picked Calvin. Let's be clear. If I had to bet money, I probably would have picked Chris.
Okay.
But given that Chris is your favorite fighter, I said, hey.
How dare... Okay, I need to cut you off.
All right. The odds were close. But
the odds were...
I'll go with Calvin.
Yeah.
The young dog. I was thinking the young dog.
Let me just say something right now. Walter
yes, please.
is the biggest Chris Weidman hater, whether he says it or no. He has hated
debate.
Chris Weidman since he knocked out Anderson Silva because Walter has been on Anderson Silva's dick for the last 7 years, and then once Chris Weidman beat him, I think you got a little butthurt. Can you... Come on.
I was upset from the downfall of Silva, but I never took it out on Weidman. It was never Weidman's fault. It's just age.
I will admit, in your defense...
I like Weidman.
It never seems that way.
What I really like is seeing you watch Weidman lose, and that just makes me very happy, because that makes you upset, and that's just... funny to watch.
I get emotional.
You get You're very emotionally attached to him. Which is fair. He's one of your favorite fighters. He's the All-American.
He's the All-American. You can't root against him. But Walter always comes up with an excuse to root against him. But yeah, I was on the Chris Weidman bandwagon. So in your defense, after he knocked out Anderson Silva twice, or beat him twice, broke it, freak accident, but Chris Weidman checked the leg kick. So, fair enough, fair game. But I got a little cocky on the Chris Weidman bandwagon because I thought Anderson Silva was the greatest of all time. And then Chris Weidman was... He wasn't calling out John Jones, but he was like, I'd go up to light heavyweight and fight John Jones. And I told Walter that I got Chris Weidman against John Jones. Man, and I'm here...
I'd be another one up.
I'm here admitting that was a crazy thing to say a couple years ago, but here we are. Yeah. But, no, I was very impressed. I'm happy that Chris Weidman came back from 3 wins down. I mean, 3 losses down, 3 losses in a row. He was in his hometown.
He needed that one.
He needed the win badly, and especially for his hometown boy. His dad especially needed the win. His dad was, it's still his boy, but he's
my boy.
He's still a fan. But, no, I was really impressed with his performance. I freaked out a little bit at the end of round 1 when Kelvin dropped him because that was Chris looked a little out of it for a sec, but he regained his composure in round 2, put it on him, and just used his grappling. And Kelvin is... I think he needs to go back down to welterweight, in my opinion, but he needs to get a nutritionist because he cannot... If you're talking the guys 6'3", 10 at middleweight, Kelvin can hang with them. But you're talking 1 through 5, they're too big, they're just as athletic, if not more than him, and He's just not. He just can't handle them because he has a smaller frame. He just likes his Mexican burritos and shit. So he wants to bulk or
Didn't he test positive for marijuana?
So he likes his marijuana.
Last fight,
yeah,
that's
against
probably
Vitor.
what it is.
Yeah.
He's hitting those late night Taco Bell runs.
The late night tacos, yeah, enchiladas and all that stuff.
I mean,
but
I don't know, maybe McDonald's, Burger King. He needs to whatever he's hitting late night fast food is what he's doing. I'm sure it's great when you go up to middleweight, but yeah, he's got more of a frame for welterweight.
Because like a part of me did when he was like, as soon as Dana White was like, he is going to middleweight because I'm sick of him missing weight. I was like, and then Kelvin's like, I'm going back down to welterweight after middleweight. I'm like, bitch, no, you better stay at middleweight because you can't make the weight.
Yeah.
But then I saw him against the top echelon of guys, and he as skilled as Kelvin. I mean, shit, he's young. I mean, he's in his mid-20s now. So
24, 25?
Yeah, he's not even in his prime yet. I'd say, and he's just not tall enough to be a middleweight.
And he doesn't have the reach. He had like a 7-inch reach advantage.
Right.
Which has to make you a little scared if you're a Chris Weidman fan. All right. This guy who has this much of a reach disadvantage dropped him. I'm just kind of worried about Chris's stand-up is all when he gets to the better guys who are bigger, the Luke Rockholds, the Whitakers, and if he can't get those takedowns, I don't know what's gonna happen. But,
until he got dropped, he wasn't looking bad. He was landing. He had a good jab against Kelvin. I mean, he was landing, but again,
because he had such a reach.
Yeah, and you make
that jab's going to be easy to get.
Yeah, you make a fair point that when it makes me worried about Chris Weidman. I mean, he got dropped by Kelvin, but Kelvin does hit hard.
He does. He's a good striker.
Right.
Good striker. Not taking anything away from Kelvin, but just something to worry about on the horizon. But his wrestling's elite. But
it's really good, and that's what he has to rely on. But his stand-up needs some work. I mean, he was working with I can't think of his name. Frankie Edgar's coach. Really good, but they just couldn't connect really this time because the coach had to. No, but you reminded me when you said that, Mark Henry. So Manhoef reminded me of Mark Henry. Mark Henry's the coach, and they just couldn't. Mark Henry was an hour away. They couldn't coordinate this camp, but I mean, it's going to be hard. But he needs to stick with Mark Henry for a year because Mark Henry he trains the elite strikers in MMA, and I don't know. I mean, Chris Weidman didn't look bad in the stand-up, but he got dropped, and let's say there was another minute left in the round when he got dropped. He could have been finished.
Could have been.
So, we'll have to see. What do you want next for Chris Weidman? What do you think's next? I mean, he's back up. I mean, I feel like that's a big win. I know it's Kelvin, but Kelvin was.
Who would I like to see, or
who would you like to see? Who do you think they'll give him?
Yeah. Honestly,
Kelvin
I would like to see a Rockhold rematch. He's already taken, though. And then Rockhold
he's fighting Dave Branch, which, let's talk about that for 1 sec.
Okay.
How do you feel about that? I mean, Dave Branch, he's ranked 9th. He's fought once in the UFC. It was a boring fight. We were actually playing FIFA while the fight was on and barely watched it, but then I went on Twitter.
To be fair, we play a lot of FIFA.
Right. Yeah. I know. We play FIFA all day, but I was like, Dave Branch is fighting some guy I've never heard of. It's the first fight on the pay-per-view.
I remember that.
Let's go. But then I went on Twitter afterwards, and they were like, that was a boring-ass fight.
I'm probably going to take Rockhold on that. Just the UFC experience.
Oh, no doubt.
All that. But
except you say, I mean, Dave Branch, I think he used to fight in the UFC, but he's also on a huge win streak right now.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah,
that's easy to be on win streaks when you're not fighting, the top fighters.
It's a fair point.
but nothing taken away from him. But
what do you think's next for Chris?
Chris, if I were matchmaking, I'd give him a rematch with Romero. I think that's what he needs.
You think? I mean,
that's what I would like to see. I think he got caught with a lucky knee, not taking anything away from Romero. But I think if they rematch, Chris can definitely pull out the win, and he needs that redemption fight of a guy who's ranked top 3, and then he's right back in the title talks.
100%, because, I mean, Yoel is number 2 in the world right now. He just lost to Whitaker, who's the interim champ.
And that went the distance, so.
It did. And Yoel that body cannot handle 5 rounds. So he won the first 2 and looked good, and then Whitaker's like, I got the cardio, and then now it's my turn. So I actually am. I like that Yoel rematch, but I'm going to lean more towards Jacare. I want to see him fight Jacare.
Ooh. To be honest, I completely forgot about Jacare, that he was even in the equation.
Jacare's 4, Chris is 5. Makes sense to me.
That would be good. I would be worried. Chris should be more worried about fighting Jacare than Yoel.
Oh, you think so? How so?
I don't know. I think Jacare's. I don't know.
I mean, Jacare's coming off a loss.
Their own.
He got knocked.
Yeah, it was It was kind of a. I don't know. No one was expecting that.
No one was.
They're both older though, so
yeah. Would you take Jacare in a fight against Weidman?
That would be if I was making odds, that would be even. That would be an even fight to me.
That's fair. That's fair.
I still think he has a better chance against. Well,
you think?
I don't know. I'm doubting myself.
You forgot about Jacare.
I did. Yeah, Robert Whitaker really put a stain on what he had been doing, and I would still say Jacare with a slight advantage. But it's anybody's game.
I agree. It's pretty much anyone's game because Chris is a wrestler and Jacare is so slick on the ground.
Yeah.
But Chris, he has good jiu-jitsu. Very good jiu-jitsu.
He does, but it's not comparable at all to Jacare.
That's true, but if he's on top, that makes a difference. If Jacare is on top, but Jacare is good at arm bars off the back and stuff, and transitions. So that's why I want to see it most because I saw Yoel Chris Weidman.
He did.
Chris won the first 2 rounds, looked good, and then got knocked out. But I saw that. Like I'm sure it would be good for him to get that rematch because Yoel's ranked higher, he's 2nd, but Jacare is 4th, Chris is 5th. I want to see that matchup because I'm just interested to see when it goes to the ground. Luke Rockhold. Wow. Yeah, Luke's coming off the loss
versus Whitaker.
Yeah, and then guess
your champion is ranked number 1.
Guess who's ranked 6th at middleweight behind Chris Weidman.
It's not Gegard anymore, so
yeah, Gegard's gone.
Oh, that's when you see middleweight take a dive. So I have no clue.
The Spider.
Oh my God!
Anderson Silva.
Let's do a trilogy.
Let's do a trilogy. Before Chris Weidman got offered Kelvin, they offered Chris Weidman a trilogy fight with Anderson Silva in Brazil, but Chris Weidman was like, that's not enough time. It was like 4 weeks. He was like, I need a bigger camp. And I'm very happy. I don't want Chris Weidman going to do a trilogy. You beat him twice, and now you're going to Anderson Silva's hometown in Brazil. And Anderson Silva, he's past his prime.
Very far past.
I'm happy with that he fought Kelvin. I thought that was a tough matchup. I would have done more like a Uriah Hall, Tim Boach, Talis Lates, but they actually went a little higher with Kelvin. So that's why I thought it was a good win for him. I mean, yeah, Kelvin's a natural. He should be a welterweight, but it was a tough fight. That's why I didn't mind that you picked him. But of course I got the win. So.
Yeah,
but what do you think about Kelvin? You think you should go back down to welterweight now?
Yeah, go to welterweight.
Yeah, I mean,
get your dieting right.
I mean, he has good matchups. I mean, you could do Gunnar Nelson's coming off a loss at welterweight. You got Neil Magny. They're decent.
Neil
matchups.
Magny's got a fight already though. Yeah. 215.
Wait, who is it again?
Is it Rafael?
Yes,
Rafael. Yeah.
Oh.
We'll talk about that later. That's for 215, but
I'm excited for that because I don't know who I'm picking in that fight.
Well, then you're an idiot. But
I disagree.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess it'll be close, but someone in my mind sticks out more.
How
than
dare you?
Else.
Okay. Wow, I'm interested to hear that when it happens. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll see.
But yeah, that was only that was the only fight Walter watched on that last card with Chris Weidman and Kelvin. Lots of decisions, but not a bad card at all. The first fight on the main card was amazing. I'm trying to remember who they are.
So good you forgot.
No, it was okay. So Thomas Almeida and Jimmy Rivera.
That's good.
It was so good. I mean, I'm a fan of Thomas Almeida. I mean, he knocks people out. He's only lost once. Jimmy Rivera's only lost once. And I saw Jimmy Rivera's ranked 4th. I had heard of him, but I'm like, oh, damn, I didn't know he was ranked 4th. And he put it on Thomas Almeida. Thomas Almeida was rocked. Then he came back and fucked up Jimmy Rivera. Jimmy Rivera got the unanimous decision, but That fight was so good. It wasn't even fight of the night. I guess I missed the fight of the night that night. But
guys in bantamweight.
That was my fight of the night. But Jimmy Rivera, you better watch out at bantamweight. He is my favorite fighter at bantamweight now. I mean, really good fight.
It's probably a fight away from a title shot.
A fight or two. I mean, people don't know him, so it's tough to get that fight.
True.
So he should be one fight away if people knew him.
Streak?
Oh, he's on a heavy. I don't think
That's pretty easy to pitch.
Jimmy Rivera is on a. He lost his second fight in MMA, and that's it.
Wow.
And he's 21-1. He's 5-0 in the UFC. Beat Uriah Faber and Thomas Almeida his last two fights.
They need to give him a main event for this next fight. If he wins, then
co-main. He can't headline. He's nobody knows him.
Well, headline at Fox FX card. Something not as big.
Are they going to get ratings? They care about ratings.
They don't get ratings anyways. So
no, they do if it's
Chris
Jimmy Rivera.
Gastelum did pretty terribly.
That's fair. That's fair. But and that's the shows that they're famous and they get shitty ratings.
Right. So they need to start building up the new age people.
So I think that's when you do I think Jimmy Rivera needs to be on a big pay-per-view, the first fight on the pay-per-view, because people are tuning in. For like a Jones Cormier pay-per-view size, like that big, you put him on the first fight, so people are tuning in, they're like, who the fuck is this guy? And then if he knocks him out, and like then he calls out the champ, like that's the best way, I think.
Yeah. It's limited space on that though, so
you
kind of have to pick and choose who they put on there.
That's true, but yeah, that's fair. But anyways, that's enough of the recapping. I'm excited to break down the card.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Tomorrow.
Good first breakdown. Best of the year, at least.
Best card of the year, UFC 214, Cormier versus Jones. Cormier's the champ. Got to say his name first.
All right, respect.
And 3 title fights. We got. I'm so excited to break these fights down. We're going to break down 5 of them, the fights that we really care about. But we should definitely start with Brian Ortega. He weighed in today, and I think he had until, I don't remember what time, but he made weight. I remember they said he has 1 minute to weigh in. He comes in at the 1 minute mark to weigh in, and barely makes weight, but makes weight. And then they said afterwards that he was about to cut his hair because he was so desperate to make weight. But that's you got to respect it. Hey, he didn't give up.
Yeah, you gotta respect it. He wants to be in that cage no matter what. But does he know how much hair weighs? You could have the longest mane. You're not taking off a half a pound.
Bro, he has a man bun. He's got some hair on him.
But still, that thing weighs a few ounces at most. You're not shaving off a half a pound by taking off your.
When you're dehydrated, you're delusional. You're like, dude, just cut my hair. I'll shave my arms, shave my legs, anything.
Shave me. Take a finger. That might do it.
But, I'm a huge Brian Ortega fan. I heard him on...
Me too. I'm glad he made it.
Yeah, I'm glad he made weight because I respect him. I got him...
I hate having to give up your purse. That cuts you deeper than...
It does. He hasn't fought in a while. He was on Brendan Schaub's podcast, and I knew who he was. I loved his fighting style. I loved him. But I heard him on Brendan Schaub's podcast, and he was... it was so fascinating to hear his life story. Like, he was like a gangster back in the day, running into the law with like police nonstop and like getting arrested all the time, and just a horrible child. And now here he is being a badass martial artist, doing Gracie Jiu-Jitsu and just tapping motherfuckers out. So I'm a fan of his. I don't know who he's fighting, but I got to take him.
And he's probably going to win.
But the first fight I really want to break down that I'm interested in is one of the prelim fights, and that is Sterling against Renan Barão. Aljamain Sterling. Walter, what do you think about this fight?
Trains with your boy Chris, doesn't he?
Trains with Chris Weidman, so he's legit.
Man.
We
already know your pick.
You go first. I want to hear what you have to say.
All right. Oh man, this one was hard. This one was really hard, actually. I really haven't seen too much of Aljamain Sterling. I know they're trying to boost him up as like an up-and-coming prospect, and I mean he's done well, but every time he's kind of fought someone, at least that I know, someone kind of big, he's lost. Split decisions, albeit. So.
2 split decisions are his only 2 losses.
Yeah, and they were good. They were good fighters too. So, I mean, he's got good He's got good ground game, really good submissions, KOs. He's young. He's 27, so he's not super old, not super young. Kind of middle of the pack, but he's confident. I like that.
Yep, he's definitely confident, and
he trains with good people. Steven Wonderboy and Chris Weidman. So those are two good people you want to be training with. But then on the other side, you have Henan Barrow. Dude was an all-time great bandweight, exactly, and he's fallen from grace. Pretty
2-5 in his last, 2-3 in his last 5.
Yeah.
And we have 2 knockouts in those 5. I mean, hey.
Yeah, TJ knocked him out twice, but that's TJ Dillashaw. That's the cream of the crop in his division.
Fair enough.
Lost decision, unanimous to Jeremy Stevens. I don't know. He's not. I'm just going to skip my reasoning. I'm just going to pick Henan Barrow. I'm going with Henan Barrow just off of UFC experience. Yeah.
Yeah. No, and I 100% have to agree with you because I'm looking at it. Aljo, he's fought tough guys, but not. I mean, Henan Barrow, before he fought TJ Dillashaw, after he knocked out Uriah Faber in the first round, he was on the pound for pound number. He was 1 or 2 on the rankings because he was, he's 32-1.
But yeah, he was.
Dana said he was 1, but Dana lies about a lot of things. But anyways,
we won't get into that.
We'll save that for another time. But he was 32-1 after he knocked out Uriah Faber, and then he's 2 out of 5 two wins in his last 5, 2 losses to TJ, but TJ's. But, the Jeremy Stevens one I thought would be winnable for him. It was fight of the night, so it was still a good war, but I don't know. Like, I just haven't seen Aljo actually step up when it comes to the higher echelon of competitors. Yeah. It just seems like when he fights the guys that are down below, he does well. I've never seen him look amazing. I've just seen him, he does well. So I just feel like the easy pick here is Henan. So, yeah, my pick is Henan Barrow as well. I got to agree with you. Just experience-wise, I mean, he defended his belt 1, 2, 3. He defended it 3 times. He won the belt and then defended it 3 times. So
that's pretty good.
I got to give it up to Henan Barrow. I think he's got this. So now we get to the pay-per-view where it gets fun because we don't know each other's picks. I might have heard it, but I forget.
Yeah.
But I am
a secret. So.
I definitely have my picks now, and I'm excited. So I will.
There's usually 1 or 2 that's different. So
okay. Let's go. So we got the fight that is to me in my heart. This is a super fight. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. This fight is a super fight, and that is Robbie Lawler fighting Donald Cerrone. I love both these guys, and I don't want either of them to lose because I love them so much, but I'm going to... you go first. I want to hear what you have to say.
I completely agree. This is probably the fight I'm, dare I say it, most excited for.
Jones Cormier is, I think, the best fight the UFC could ever put on in the entire history on paper. But we'll get into it when we get there. But Lawler Cerrone for me is just
it's a fan favorite. If you're a UFC fan, you know this is going to be a war.
100%.
It's going to be a war. And honestly, I know you said you were kind of struggling with this. I didn't struggle at all picking this, and I know you know who I'm going to pick. Robbie Lawler. It's Robbie Lawler.
Oh my God! I thought no, hold on. I seriously thought you were going to say Donald Cerrone, right there.
Are you kidding me?
Oh my God!
You don't know me at all.
I don't.
It's Robbie Lawler.
I thought you were going to be like, my pick's Donald Cerrone. No doubt.
Oh my God!
Oh my God!
100%. Donald Cerrone's good, but every time I've seen him fight elite competition, which is it's elite competition. That's hard, but I mean, when you're fighting in the UFC, that's what you have to do. He's lost. I mean, to be fair, he's beaten a lot of people. He fights all the time. Dude is a badass. He's a badass. He really is. A great fighter, comes and brings it, but he is just always hanging at that 4 to 8 in every division.
He's a gatekeeper to the top echelon fighters.
Yes. He's like Uriah Faber, an elite fighter, but just could never quite break that threshold.
I see.
And Robbie Lawler broke that threshold and broke faces doing it. I mean, dude he's a crusher. He likes to swing. And, I mean, if you look at all of Donald Cerrone's losses, what are they?
Go for it. Let me hear it.
His past 4 losses were TKOs. And he's getting knocked out. That means they're not decisions. He's getting beaten up by guys who are just tougher than him. And he is as tough as they come. I will agree. He beat... What was my one thing? This is what made me kind of think, all right, he might have it in. Edson Barbosa, when those two swung. Edson Barbosa kicks so hard. Those two were trading. I'm like, all right, that's pretty impressive. But Jorge Masvidal just knocked him out. When he fought Rafael and he got tagged a few times, he looked scared. And I think he's going to look scared when Robbie Lawler hits him.
You might have just convinced me.
And Robbie Lawler's going to win. I mean, look at who he's beat. He's knocked out. He's got 3 knockouts before his Jorge Masvidal. He knocked out Matt Brown. All right.
But he got rocked in that fight.
He did.
Matt Brown rocked him.
Matt Brown, who's not a power puncher, mind you. He's just a brawler. Doesn't really knock guys out. Rick Story, TKO'd Rick Story. Okay. Rick Story's a typical ranked 7 to 13 guy. Love the guy. Great fighter, has heart. Knocked out Patrick Cote. It's Patrick Cote. No offense. Another guy who's just been at the bottom.
The bottom.
He's beaten champs. Eddie Alvarez. We could argue if Eddie should have been a champ. I won't get into that. But man, he's fought the who's who. He's fought everybody, and he's done pretty well. But when he loses, he loses. And Robbie Lawler is such a baller. I don't even know how to put it. I mean, he should be the welterweight champ. Got tagged by Tyron Woodley, which shows...
No, take that back. He should not be. He got knocked the fuck out by Tyron. He should not be the welterweight champ.
He got tagged, and he shouldn't at all. Tyron's got insane power, which just shows you how freaking powerful Tyron is to knock out Robbie. How many fights have we seen Robbie just eating the most savage of shots and just not going down? And I don't think Cerrone packs that kind of power to take out Lawler. So
do you know
I'm going with Lawler. He's a brawler. Dude gets knockouts, and he pushes it. And if you push it on Cerrone, he starts to get scared. Once you start hitting him hard, Cerrone's key, in my opinion, to winning this fight: leg kicks. Use your leg kicks.
Yep.
Because Robbie is a little one-dimensional in his stand-up to me.
Robbie Lawler's not good with leg kicks. Melvin Manhoff was eating him up until Robbie knocked the fuck out of him, but he was eating it up. Can I tell you something? Why I'm so angry right now? You just made me so angry right now.
So
and let me tell you why. Because this fight I was split on. And then this week I've been seeing pre-fight stuff, hearing things from Robbie, hearing things from Donald, hearing things from friends of Robbie's, Pat Miletich, and just hearing things. And I came up to pick Donald, but you're giving me really good statistics that makes me want to make my pick and change it to Robbie Lawler because Donald, which is copying, I am torn right now. But you know what? I'm going to stand... You are not going to convince me otherwise. I am picking Donald Cowboy Cerrone to win this.
Might I just reinforce, out of his last 3 losses...
No, you may not.
They were knockouts. They weren't knockouts. They were TKOs. He wasn't knocked clean out like Robbie was. Sometimes you just get tagged. No. He was beaten into submission, which is fair. He's fighting the top echelon of guys. You got Rafael, Masvidal, Pettis... But at the same time, you got TKO'd, and they were probably from body shots, and him just feeling like, man, I'm overwhelmed. These guys I think they're a little bit better than me. And that just hurt, and now he's coming at me. I'm going to body up, guard myself, and Robbie's been in those wars, man, with Condit. I don't know.
Okay. This is why I'm picking Donald Cerrone. Because he knows... Okay, let me tell you why I'm not picking Robbie, actually. That's a better place.
Okay.
Robbie, this is his first... He was champ at ATT. American Top Team. That was his team. This is his first camp leaving ATT. I don't even know where he's at right now. I have no idea. And then I hear Pat Miletich, who was his coach as Robbie was 19 years old. For 10 years, he was the coach. He did an interview this week on Ariel Helwani's show, and he was like, "This is horrible for Robbie Lawler. This fight is this is a no-win situation for Robbie because Donald, if I'm his manager, I'm saying you do not take this fight. Robbie will fight anybody because he's a savage. But if I'm his manager, I'm saying you do not take this fight, Robbie, because Donald Cerrone can put it on, and I don't remember his points actually, but he made good points. But
make your own points.
I'm trying to think right now, but
no,
it's like,
Coach, I didn't realize he left his camp.
Yeah, he left ATT, and that's really when it hit. Because I was, like I said, I didn't know who I was going to pick until yesterday. And then I know that he left his camp. He got knocked the fuck out in his last fight by Tyron. So,
and Cerrone's camp's legit.
And Cerrone's camp is legit. He trains hard. He fucks around a lot, but he is always training. But the problem with Cerrone is if you have an aggressive, badass fighter that comes at him, he freezes up.
What does that sound like? That sounds like Robbie Lawler. You remember Robbie Lawler screaming at Johnny Hendricks in the 5th round of a championship fight?
And Rory McDonald. Yeah, Rory McDonald, too.
Who he knocked out.
Spits the blood out of his mouth at the end of the 4th round.
I'm just saying, that's getting in his head. And you can train all you want with the best people, but that's not going to change who you are on the inside.
I just think...
your breaking point. Maybe it will.
I think Robbie Lawler, as soon as he got knocked out by Tyron, he's out of his prime now. He had one of the best... I know this is ballsy to say, but he had to beat the top guys... And he had, he has been fighting for so long, and that run that he had made me emotional. I was so into it. I was like, this guy has gone through 3 generations of fighters, and here he is defending his belt over and over again. But
he only defended it twice.
That's why I said over and over again.
Over. Fair enough. Yeah.
That's why I said
it made it sound bigger than it was.
I didn't say 3 times. I said it twice.
It was the minimum. Over and over. He only defended it twice. It felt like more. I'll agree with you there. It felt like he was the champ for a while.
But I feel like his time has finally come to an end. I don't know where he's at mentally because I've only seen him after his Tyron fight. I just feel like maybe he's like, oh, well, there was something wrong with the camp and just leaves the camp. And who knows where he's at now. And Donald is training all day, every day. This is what he loves to do. This is the pick that I am least confident in because I don't know you just don't know what Donald is going to show up. That's the big thing. You don't know which one. If he shows up mentally ready, he wins the fight, in my opinion. If he's kind of like nervous going into it, whichever fight, but if he's like not right mentally, Donald is the one fighter that I watch where I can see in his eyes if he's mentally there or not as he's walking out.
I know. I think we've discussed
this
previous fights.
Yeah.
Like when he walks out there, you can tell just by his demeanor.
Yep.
What he's feeling.
Yeah.
How he's going to come out, and it can be scary. I think it's going to be a scary thing when he sees that nasty Robbie Lawler stare.
So. It's a very fair point.
So you've got Cerrone. That's what
I got Cerrone, but again, like you were saying that, but it's like I will never forget when he fought Nate Diaz, and we were all picking Nate Diaz, and Nate Diaz lit him up for the first 2 rounds, and then they go in his corner, they come out and they're standing up. John McCarthy is like, all right, 1 more round. Nate Diaz gives him the finger, and then they pan to Donald Cerrone, and you just see him nod. He gives the nod like, yep, you've whooped my ass. You can tell he's already been defeated. Yeah. So, Donald, I'm not confident in this pick, but I'm going to go against you and pick Donald.
I'm glad you're picking
Donald.
And
I'm shocked you're picking that you were like...
I'm shocked you're not picking Lawler. After some of the Lawler fights we saw, and we would stand up and cheer at Buffalo Wild Wings, at Hooters, I feel like this dude is he is so legit. But, respect to Cerrone, too. Isn't he about to set a record? Some UFC record for most... I don't even know, most fights or something.
If you include
fights all the time.
Yeah, if you include WEC fights and UFC, he's up there.
He is just that's very impressive. And that's also a lot of damage he's taking.
Yeah, Donald was on Brendan Schaub's podcast this week, because the fight's in California. So he was on the podcast a couple days ago. And wait, what were we just talking about? The last thing? Literally just like 20 seconds ago. What about? He fights often.
Yeah, he fights often.
Brendan Schaub was like, Donald.
I'm a few 2-1-1s in, so yeah.
Brendan,
it's 8.1%.
8.1% alcohol right now. We're feeling it. But Brendan Schaub was like, Donald, who is your manager? He's like, who? So and so. He's like, after you fought Matt Brown, why did you fight Jorge Masvidal in just a few weeks? If I'm your manager, I'm saying you're an idiot. No, we're going for a title fight. So it was funny. Brendan was like breaking it down. He's like, I'm going to be like part of your management team. After you beat Robbie Lawler, you get on the mic, you call out the champ, and you fight the champ, or you fight. He had one other person that he should fight.
It's not going to happen.
It was.
He needs to fight a Top.
I don't know. They said, maybe Stephen Thompson. I think Stephen Thompson. It's like you either fight Stephen Thompson or you fight the champ.
I would give him a better chance against Stephen Thompson than Robbie Lawler.
Okay, that's
just
fair.
Because of punching power.
That's fair. That's fair.
I think stylistically he would have a better chance, but I still don't think he would be the favorite, or I still wouldn't pick him. But I want to pick him. Love Cowboy.
I love Cowboy.
I always love watching him fight because you know it's going to be a fun fight. So this is just one. This is just a fan favorite fight. If you're a UFC fan, this is your fight.
It's fan favorite. Fight. May the best man win, because whoever wins. This is why I like picking Cowboy, because if Robbie wins, I will let you have the victory, Walter, because I will be.
There's no losing.
Because I will be I will be happy for Robbie, because I'm such a fan of his.
I want Robbie to be back. I want him to get the belt back again. To be honest.
That will never happen. But I will tell you right now, on the first episode, Robbie will never win the belt again. But if he beats Donald, that is a huge feather in his cap.
Mark his words.
But anyway, that's enough about that fight. I'm glad that you're picking Robbie. I am shocked. I really thought you were going to easily pick Cowboy.
I thought you were jumping on Robbie. So
let's jump into the first title fight of the night, the women's featherweight belt. What's her name? Jermaine Durandamine vacated it because she's scared of Cyborg, as she should be. I don't disagree with her.
I don't even get what that situation was.
Who cares?
Don't really care. And clearly the UFC didn't.
No, she has a fight at bantamweight again. She's fighting some girl.
Weird.
Yeah, so who cares?
Yeah.
I don't even know. But break down the Chris Cyborg, Tanya Evinger fight. What are you thinking in the fight?
This fight literally took me about 10 seconds of research. Not even research. Just looking at the fight. It's Cyborg. It's Cyborg. It's always been Cyborg, and it never won't be Cyborg. I mean, her past... Oh my god, how many fights back do you go? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Past 11 fights, excluding her no contest, were knockouts. And I don't know who this other chick is. Maybe she can bring something to the table. The only chance I see her having is if Chris is a little too overconfident. Maybe she catches her with an uppercut. I don't know if she can take her down. I really don't know anything about this other chick.
Tanya Evinger.
Yeah. No disrespect to her, too. I know she's a champion in... Invicta. Yep. All right. Respect to Invicta.
Bantamweight champ, and Cyborg's way bigger.
Exactly. You're fighting a girl who can't make bantamweight. She's not a bantamweight. She's a featherweight. And, wow. She is in for a night. And I think we're going to see Cyborg be the champ. And that's probably why the odds are as stacked as they are. She is a minus 1,100.
1,100 favorite.
That is
Tanya Evinger plus 900.
That's a little disrespectful.
To who?
The other girl.
Tanya, Walter. Tanya.
Why do I need to know her name? She's never going to be the champ. I'm sorry, Tanya. Unless Cyborg, disappears she has a little dispute with Dana
She gets
White.
like a freak injury in the fight or something.
And just, yeah. Like, falls on her face and breaks her neck. Lands on a bar stool or something, does a $1 million baby thing.
Basically,
I doubt this other chick is ever going to win because Cyborg is a cyborg.
Dude,
she's not human.
She is a freak athlete. There is no... You don't want to bet on this fight because Tanya, you're wasting your money. No, you're wasting your money with Chris Cyborg. You have to bet a shitload of money to make a dime, so it's not even worth it to bet on.
When you know you're going to make a dime. I know we've had this discussion before with Anderson Silva fights. Stephan Bonner, I remember we went to Buffalo Wild Wings. You're like, you might as well just bet on Stephan. I'm like, no. You bet a shit ton on Anderson Silva because you know he's not losing. But I know, I
disagree.
It's a fair argument that you would say it's ridiculous to bet that. I mean, because this is a sport, you never know what can happen.
You never know.
You never know.
There could be freak injuries or like a disqualification or no contest.
That's true. But especially with Silva, I mean, his past, I guess, more recently,
you have to bet,
no contest. But
you have to bet $1,000 to make like $90. So it's like, why are you spending $1,000
to have? You're just betting right there on the fight. I went in there knowing Silva's not losing this fight. I just want to see how he wins it.
I hear what you're saying, but on this fight, again, I would bet. If I was a betting man, I don't bet on fights. I would bet on Tanya, and I'd put $10 down because Cyborg.
That wouldn't even be really
you have
considered
to put,
betting.
I hear you, but you can't
throwing $10 away. Jesus, just give it to me.
With Cyborg, you have to bet $1,100 to win $100. Like, is that worth it to risk $1,100 just to win $100?
You know she's going to win.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. It's true.
So
it's true, but. It's true.
But I hear your argument.
Especially at the lighter weight classes, I'm so much more inclined to make those bets because knockouts are just so much less frequent.
Yeah.
Except for clearly Cyborg, who knocks out everybody who stands in front of her. I mean, shit. Once she gets to be a champion, does she not just jump to the top 5 pound for pound? I don't see how she doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. But I
don't see how she does. She destroys everybody she fights. Yeah. And to be fair, I've only seen 1 or 2 fights of hers.
Oh, really?
They lasted.
Yeah, no, she's a bad motherfucker. I mean, I've seen her fighting for 5 years now.
Yeah. Her last fight was
in Brazil, I think, too.
Yeah. Okay. It lasted 6 minutes, just under 6:30.
Yeah.
And it was TKO. Yeah. Fight before that, less than 90 seconds. So.
This one's just hard for me to break down because I don't know who Tanya Evans is. Like, I know Invicta is kind of popular, but I'm not into. There's so much MMA as it is. Like, I don't have time to be watching Invicta fight. So I look up Tanya's record. She's a tremendous fighter. I think when she loses to Cyborg, because I'm definitely picking Cyborg as well, she'll go down to bantamweight, and I think she'll do well.
Let's not forget, she's going up in weight.
Yeah,
too,
she's going up in
weight.
weight.
This girl who's already knocking people out. What would you say about a light heavyweight? Say Ryan Bader going up to fight Francis Ngannou. Like, you're gonna get knocked out, bud. Like, I don't know.
But
someone who knocks out people, I can't wait for that fight. Let me just say, JD getting off
JD
topic.
Ngannou.
Yeah,
that's going to be a great fight. We'll definitely break that down.
For another day. But
this one is just.
I think everyone can agree Cyborg wins this one.
Everyone agrees.
No reason to say why.
It's pretty clear why Cyborg's going to win, and if Tanya wins, I just want to see her fight. I'll be honest, I've never seen her fight before. So, I've seen her. I think I actually saw her. I don't know if this is the same girl I'm thinking of, so I don't want to say it actually. But Tanya's 36. She's up there in age. Okay. So yeah, I'm not really sure what Tanya's made of, but hopefully I just hope it's a decent fight. If Tanya can win a round, I'd be really happy. I just want to see Cyborg tested. I mean, I don't know. Cyborg is best female fighter on the planet right now. She's a barbarian. People, she has her doubter or her haters, but I don't know. I just think it's Cyborg's time to finally be UFC champ. She's fought in the UFC. A big thing that I see with Tanya is she already has no chance against Cyborg, but she's never fought in the UFC. You've never been there for the big lights. And this is the best pay-per-view of the year so far the UFC has put on. Yeah, exactly. So we're talking first title fight on the big card. The lights are on you. People want you to win. And then I just don't see it happening. But that's enough said about that fight because we kind of just assume Cyborg's going to win. It's cut and dry. So
she wins it, though. I will write her an apology letter.
We will apologize and invite her on the show, maybe, and apologize to her in person because she's definitely listening to this. So,
all the merch she wants. Have to make some merch first, but
now this gets into the good stuff because now we're into the co-main event. We got Tyron Woodley against Damian Maia, and this fight, I believe, will go 5 rounds unless Woodley knocks him out in the first. But it could be a boring fight to some people, but this fight I'm very intrigued by. I wish, to be honest, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson beat Woodley in the last fight. It was super close because the matchup that I want to see at welterweight is Wonderboy versus Maia because I want to see like an old school UFC 1, like the striker versus the grappler and see what happens. I mean, Woodley, he's a striker, but he's also a wrestler. Wonderboy is an amazing striker, karate guy. So I want to see the karate. I wanted to see Wonderboy, the karate guy, against Damian, the jiu-jitsu guy, Maia. But here we are with Woodley, Maia. I'm still super excited for this. I like that they respect each other. Walt, do you want to give your pick first or what?
Man, you give your pick
okay.
first.
All right, I'll go first. I know.
I'm going to lead with, I know you thought Robbie Lawler, Donald Cerrone was the closest. To me, this is the closest fight.
And this one is the
hardest one for me to choose.
This one was the second closest, but I came up with the decision before I came up with Robbie and Cerrone. So
I'm just going to lead with, I think we have different picks. But
my pick is Damian Maia. And I don't know. Okay. The main thing, I thought it was 50-50. I see last weekend during the Kelvin Gastelum, Chris Weidman thing, Tyron Woodley is in the booth. He's an analyst for this fight. Motherfucker, you have a fight in 7 days, and you're on the desk right now breaking down fights. Damian's training right now. Damian's prepared for the fight. Tyron, I think, has... Hold on. I think Tyron has too many things on his plate. And I know that, and this is when you really need to be focused in camp. And I just see him on the desk. He's analyzing fights. He's got other things to worry about. And Damian takes down everybody he fights. He finds a way. He takes down Rory McDonald and mounts Rory McDonald in the first round. He lost the fight, but first round, I remember he mounted Rory, and I couldn't believe. And that's when I was like, okay, this Damian Maia guy's legit. And then, let me see. Then,
just to be clear, you think Damian Maia is training at 9 o'clock at night when?
So, anyways, I'm ignoring him. So Damian is on a 7-fight win streak. He ragdolled Gunnar Nelson, who has legit jiu-jitsu, some of the best jiu-jitsu in the welterweight division.
And just lost.
By an eye poke.
Okay, that's
a double
that's
eye
fair.
poke. Yeah, that's ridiculous. He's just trying to doubt me.
Jiu-jitsu.
But ragdolled Gunnar for 3 rounds, won every round. Taps out Matt Brown, that's very easy. But then beats Carlos Condit in under 2 minutes by submission. That is when I was like, this dude is fucking legit. When you do that to Carlos Condit, this was his comeback fight, he was ready. I was like, Carlos is going to give him a fight. I don't even know who I had in that fight, but Damian chokes him out in under 2 minutes, rear naked. I was hooked. And then, Jorge Masvidal by split decision his last fight. Could have gone either way, but I did have it for Damian, even though I wanted Jorge to win. I'm on the Damian Maia hype train. He doesn't care about money. He doesn't care about fame. He doesn't give a fuck about anything. All he wants in his life is to be world champion. He said, I will take a pay cut to take a fight to be the world champion. I know Tyron wants it back. Or obviously, he has it. He's good. But the only chance I see Tyron having is the first round knockout. I don't know what the fuck is going to happen in this fight. I just know that Maia his striking has gotten pretty good. He's definitely a grappler. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's a striker. He has good striking or great striking, but he knows how to hang and he knows how to implement his game into a fight. I mean, shit. When he fought Gunnar Nelson, he landed 7 punch, or Gunnar Nelson, a 15-minute fight, 6 punches Gunnar Nelson landed on him. It's like he just doesn't get hit. If Tyron Woodley lands, he's going down. If he lands flush, Maia's going to go down. But I think Maia has trained smart. This is his moment to shine. He's been fucked out of a title shot over and over by Dana White, because fuck Dana White. But I think this is Maia's time, and I'm really rooting for him. It could be a 5-round, whatever, but I just want to see Maia be champ. That's what I want. I'm not a Tyron Woodley hater, but Maia is... I think he deserves it, and I think it's his time. So I want to hear what your pick is.
Let me hear what your guess is first. Who do you think I'm
Woodley.
picking? You're right. Yeah, I'm picking Tyron Woodley. For a lot of factors that we'll get into, obviously, but I want to see how well you know these two fighters. They have both been knocked out by one guy.
Nate Marquardt.
Wow.
Nate Marquardt.
This dude knows way too much about it. I never would have guessed that.
Yep.
This scrub Nate Marquardt. No, respect to Nate Marquardt. He's had his era. He's a scrub now. But he's not even a scrub. I mean,
he's past his prime now.
But his prime, and that's such a thing in UFC.
Woodley got viciously knocked out by Marquardt. Yes, Maia did too, but this was as soon as Maia started to think that he was a striker. This was his first fight where he thought, I'm a striker. He got knocked out in 28 seconds by Marquardt or something. It was quick. Woodley, it was at the end of the first round, a 5-punch combo by
21 seconds.
21. I said 28. I'm close. See, I know my fucking MMA, Walter. But anyway, back to you. Break it down for me. Give me any more brain busters.
Wow. Well, I just kind of want to cover Jeremy's talk. Weren't you saying Damian Maia's pretty hot recently?
Yeah.
Damian Maia is a big middleweight. I'm just going to go over the advantages of Damian Maia first. Big middleweight.
Welterweight. Or you mean...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, welterweight.
Yeah. Damn, that's still reserve. Everyone, 8.1%.
8.1%. Steel reserve.
Crush it before you go out.
Get on it. 4.0 on our scale.
4.0.
Oh,
Don't listen to the haters. Don't listen to the haters. But yeah, he's on a 7-fight win streak. That's very impressive. All submissions though, nothing. He really brings nothing to the stand up.
But he takes everyone down. They can't stop it.
All right. His takedown average is 3. Accuracy is 31%. And Jeremy, actually, you sent me a text earlier this week, which is a pretty cool stat for 214, but the 3 fighters with the best takedown defense in UFC history are fighting this weekend. Do you remember them, Jeremy?
Renan Barão. Woodley. I don't remember the last one.
How do you not? I think it is.
I haven't.
Who's the best fighter on the card?
John Jones.
Okay, John Jones. There you go. But I don't know. Woodley was 3. UFC.com says he's at a 91.89. It's pretty freaking good for takedown defense. Right, he's shorter. That's going to help. That's the only part of being shorter that helps is the takedown defense. He has a 2-inch reach advantage. And he's younger. He's 4 years younger. Dude is shredded. And honestly, I think the people he's fought more recently are just a higher caliber than Damian Maia's fought. Damian Maia has fought great guys. Just fought decision Gunnar Nelson. Submitted Neil Magny. It's not super hard. Submit Neil Magny. I don't know. You get him on the ground. Neil Magny's not a ground guy. Submit him. Pretty good. I mean, you're a jiu-jitsu world-class black belt. That's your thing. You get a guy on the ground, you're taking over. But the thing is, if he gets you on top, he's taking over. If he's on the bottom, if he's having to pull guard because Tyron's on top, that's not the same.
Let me
That's
say
not
something.
the same.
I want him to. If it's not going well, I want Damian to pull guard because
But Tyron won't allow him to.
You can, and I know we have our thoughts about Chael Sonnen, but Damian Maia is a good welterweight. He was on bottom against Chael Sonnen, flipped him over triangle from the top. So he has the ground game to fuck Tyron up on the bottom, I believe.
Are you comparing Chael Sonnen to Tyron Woodley?
Yes, I am, and I will admit it on episode 1 of MMA On Tap. But
fair enough.
But it was more of the Carlos Condit early submission that really got me like
that was because Carlos is a very good jiu-jitsu guy, but
under 2 minutes in the first round.
What, he's a black belt, isn't he?
Yeah,
black belt. But there's a big difference between I don't even know what Damian is, 3rd degree, 8th degree. It doesn't even matter.
Good, you're hyping up. Keep hyping up Damian.
Excuse me, 4th degree.
4th
degree black belt. There's a big difference between a 4th degree black belt and a black belt. And Damian is a 4th degree, and that is savage. But again, he has to. When you're working from the bottom, that doesn't work quite as well in jiu-jitsu as it does from the top.
So how do you think Tyron gets it done?
Man. I could definitely see this one going to decision.
Really? When you pick Tyron, you don't envision like a first round knockout? Because that's the way I see Tyron winning, is a first round knockout.
No, I think he's got the cardio. He still has the punching power for.
You think he has a cardio?
He'll have the punching power for 3 rounds.
Yeah, fair.
I'm worried in round 4 and 5 how his takedown defense is going to be. I think he definitely needs to pace himself. He needs to throw combos. He needs to not lay in everything into one punch, hoping it's going to knock him out. Will it knock him out? Probably, but you have to land flush. And
not Tyron. He doesn't have to land flush. He hits hard.
Crush him on the neck. Yeah, he knocked out Robbie Lawler. So yeah, he landed flush on that Robbie Lawler knockout. But I mean,
I just think it's Damian's time. I don't know. You just feel it.
He's
sometimes.
39. He's 39.
I know, but I know he might.
He's not particularly quick. I don't think he's going to be able to take down and dominate his presence.
It's fair.
The only reason he beat Masvidal is because he just clung on his back the whole time, didn't really do anything, and I don't know. I'm going with Tyron. I think Tyron can do enough on the feet, keep it standing. I hope he keeps it standing for the sake of the folks, but if it gets on the ground, man, that's definitely Damian Maia's. So I'm betting on that 91.8% takedown defense, and I think he knows that. He knows that I can't let this go to the ground. I have to exchange with him. Throw uppercuts.
Yeah.
Throw uppercuts. Just throw them. That'll keep him from going to the ground. Throw leg kicks, which I don't think he really does in my experience of watching him. He doesn't really do it, but he's got the advantage standing up completely. And pace yourself. You don't need to win it in round 1 and 2. Save your energy. Win 3 and 4. And come out strong in the 5th. But I'm picking Tyron. I really don't. I don't think Damian's got that to be a champ. I don't think he should ever be a UFC champ. And I hate to say that because I really respect Damian Maia because I love jiu-jitsu. I love it, and he is like the best jiu-jitsu guy who's ever been in the UFC. One of the
him
best.
And Jacare, yeah.
Him and Jacare, Fabricio. I don't know. There's a
lot
Verdun,
of guys, yeah, for sure. Those 3.
But yeah, he's definitely one of the best, and I love that element of the sport. But at the same time, I like people. MMA is about being well-rounded, and I think he's just very one-dimensional.
But it works for him.
At the same time.
We're talking about a 7-fight win streak. Yeah.
And I think it should be able to work for you up to a point, and I don't think champion should ever be just that one-dimensional person.
But could you imagine if he did win the belt, and we're talking about a jiu-jitsu What if he does tap out Tyron Woodley? I mean, that would be insane. Then what would you say?
I would be happy for him. I'd be happy for him. Is he a mixed martial artist? Probably not.
Decent stand-up.
He's a jiu-jitsu
Decent.
fighter.
Not bad. It's not bad. It's not ugly.
I may be underrating it. I may be underrating it.
You are, honestly.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
And the
he
fights
can
I've
hang.
seen, though, but he can hang, but he's not, he's not knocking.
I'm taking the risk that Tyron Woodley doesn't get that clean shot to drop him because I just think that, I don't know.
think he needs to. He needs to rip the body early, rip the legs. That's not what he's going to do. But just throw the combos, just keep him backing up. Once he gets him backing up, if he gets him backing up.
Yeah. I just love
get those early stops when he's trying to take you down. Make him discouraged. Wrap him up. Don't overcommit on anything. Just know, all right, I've got it on the feet. Maya's not knocking you out. Don't worry about it, man.
Fair,
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Worry about getting taken down. That is a knockout for you. If you get taken down, that's like being tagged.
Yeah.
So just take it slow, deal your punches, do your damage. You're gonna win the feet. Throw those uppercuts. Do what Gustafsson does so well. Throw those uppercuts, prevent the takedowns, and just go the distance if you have to. This dude's a beast. He's dangerous, and once you're on the ground, be smart enough in your ground game not to get rolled on your back and let him rear naked choke you, because that's kind of his thing. But
I just love this stylistic matchup of it. Like,
man,
we're just two different styles.
Yeah.
And who knows, Maya wants to take him down and Tyron wants to keep it standing. Who is going to be the guy that keeps it their way?
And
it's going to be
after
insane.
I've said throw leg kicks, but that's going to open you up to takedowns. They better be low and they better be quick.
Better be quick,
You can't be throwing the high stuff. He's athletic enough, but hopefully he's smart enough not to burn himself out. It's a 5-round fight, but I'm going with Woodley. I like that 91.8% takedown defense, and if Maya does not get the takedown, there's no way Maya's winning the fight.
Yeah, you make a fair point.
But all he needs is one takedown, and you can't get him off you, and that's what also scares me.
He sticks on you like glue.
All he needs is one.
Yeah.
He's also at a 30% clip of taking you down, so already against an average fighter, let alone a guy who is hard as hell to take down. So I think Woodley, he might get taken down for a round or two, but the rounds he's not, he is definitely winning. So I'm going Woodley decision.
I love it. Let's go. Yeah, I got Maya by decision.
I just want it to be an exciting fight, though. I don't care.
I don't think it will be.
I want it to end in... Yeah, I don't think it will be either. I think we're on the same page on that, but...
I think it's either... Yeah, it'll be like a close, like Wonder Boy. But the Wonder Boy Woodley last fight, too, was terrible. It was so bad. I think this fight will be a lot better. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it'll be 5 rounds, but... Woodley could finish him in the first by knockout. Maya could submit him, which I don't know if Woodley gets. I've never seen him be submitted, so we'll see. But it'll be interesting. I'm just looking forward now to talking about this main event: Daniel Cormier versus John Jones, and I would love to hear your thoughts. It sounds like you're
I think it's pretty
leaning towards Daniel Cormier. It sounds like
I think you're absolutely wrong, but I mean. Now, let's go over the odds. And
break down the odds.
Part of it that I want to give respect to DC. John Jones, minus 265. DC is a plus 245. To me, that is
fair odds.
Exactly where it should be.
Fair odds. Very
That's
fair.
Exactly
very fair.
I mean, DC's only lost to John Jones.
Yeah.
He's only lost to John Jones.
Where's he on your pound-for-pound list? Because John Jones is my number 2. DC's my number 3. Demetrius Johnson, my number 1.
All right, I respect that. DC's your number 3.
Who would you put? Conor McGregor as 4 or as 3?
No.
Who would you put as 3? Mine's definitely DC.
People factor in Conor McGregor's height.
Conor McGregor's 5th for me. I don't even know his 4th.
He's definitely. Oh man.
I don't know.
I even hate saying this, but I mean, he's a little overhyped. I don't think he's had the best.
Who
of the Conor?
Oh no!
Outside of Jose,
that
was legendary. That 13-second knockout. It doesn't get better than that.
We'll talk about Conor later because no. Who gives a fuck? I'm just saying that's where. What would who would your top 3 be pound for pound? In what order?
Demetrius is 1.
I appreciate respect.
Yeah.
And John Jones has to be 2.
He's 2. He's 2.
If
and once he wins this,
if John Jones beats DC, John Jones is number one. He beat DC twice. John Jones, you could easily make the argument John Jones is number one because he's beaten better guys
we
than
tend to
Demetrius.
not agree on things, but I agree with that. I want John Jones to be one so bad, but
I don't. I love Demetrius.
no, okay, yeah, I agree with that as well. I don't know. I don't want him to be one so bad,
but he should.
I just know he is number one.
But who's your number three? It has to be DC. He heavyweight Grand Prix champ in Strikeforce, heavyweight undefeated at heavyweight, one loss to John Jones, beat Rumble Johnson twice. I mean, DC is number three in my book, and if he beats John Jones, he's number two.
The only people sticking out to me at the moment are Stipe and
No way.
Joanna.
It's so tough to rate or to rank women in the top because it's not as hard competition as men, and I hate to say it because I'm in love with her. She is my favorite. I'd put her fifth. I'd put Conor McGregor fourth, her fifth.
She's got tough competition, but it's not because they're women. It's also because they're in lightweight divisions, which is Demetrius is also in a lightweight division. The chance of getting knocked out is just statistically so much lower that your skills shine through a little bit, and that's why I picked Stipe, although he hasn't been champion for as long. It's hard to be a heavyweight champ because it's so likely to get knocked out. Over 50% of heavyweight fights end in a knockout.
Yeah.
Just because your hands are so big, the dudes are so big, and once you get to those lower weight classes, you're just not as likely to get knocked out. So Demetrius Johnson, he can withstand those early knockouts. So that's why it's a little bit easier for him. Not that it's easy at all to go on a streak that he has gone on. That's insanely impressive. Joanna, her as well, but just those lightweight classes, you don't have to worry about getting clean knocked out as much. It just doesn't really happen. So, not that your skills don't have to be there, but that element that's so powerful and heavyweight, that's so powerful and lightweight and up just really isn't there. Like, it doesn't happen as much.
I like that. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
I'm not saying that biasly. It's just it's statistics. I mean, but
can I say something though?
Yeah, absolutely.
If DC beats John Jones, is he number one pound for pound? Because I say yes.
Yes.
And he should retire on that. He's 39. Retire, sir.
No, he should fight Brock. We'll get into that later, but
nope.
He should take his money fight in a Brock Lesnar and be an easy money fight for him.
Fair enough, but break down. You haven't broken down John Jones Cormier.
All right, we just went with the
odds. Yeah, the odds were fair.
265 plus 245 for Cormier. I got to give it to John Jones. Pretty easily. He was looking shredded at the weigh-in.
Shredded. DC looked good too.
DC for a 40-year-old man.
For 5'11".
A decade age apart.
Yeah.
John Jones has a 12-inch reach advantage. Can't remember the last time I saw that. I don't think. Could that be a record? I don't know. It might be. Outside of heavyweight, you don't really see disparities like that. But that and he's just a natural. He's young. He's hungry. He hasn't fought recently. That's my one thing going against him, is that he hasn't been in the fight game as of late too much. Hasn't been scrapping, but he's been training. He's training at one of the best facilities.
I say his jiu-jitsu is on another level right now.
He doesn't need his jiu-jitsu. But we'll see.
Maybe you were just talking earlier. You like mixed martial artists.
That's true, but he's a wrestler. He'll use his jiu-jitsu from the top, but when I think jiu-jitsu, I'm thinking from the bottom, MMA. A wrestler can get away with knowing just the basic jiu-jitsu when you're on top, when you're getting those takedowns. When you really need to know your jiu-jitsu is when you're on your back. I
think if John Jones is fucking DC up a couple rounds in, third, fourth, or fifth round, we can see John Jones fucking with DC and pulling guard just for fun. Just for fun.
I don't think he will.
He did in their first fight.
Because he's gonna keep.
He did in their first fight.
Yeah, he did. But he's a different person. How long ago was that?
He says he's different. John Jones is still the same cokehead, partying guy that. No, I'm just kidding. I do like John Jones. Who are you rooting for in your heart? Because it's. I think I'm rooting for DC just because he's. I don't know. Like I want to see the greatest of all time get dethroned. Mm-hmm. Even though DC is the champ, I want to see John Jones get beat.
He's
legit.
the champ because John Jones had to vacate his belt, but
for his fuck ups.
Honestly, and this might be a little bit selfish, I think I'm rooting for John Jones. As a person, I want DC to win. I like DC. I think he's probably a genuinely nice guy. I want him to get that satisfaction of, hey, I could beat this guy like I was able to, but he's even older than he was the last time they fought. John Jones is still pretty young.
John Jones is in his prime right now.
And I'm selfish. I want one of those all-time greats. I want to be witnessing one of those all-time greats. And it's about me, not about the fighters. Yep. It's about me being one to be like, yeah, I remember when John Jones retook his belt, saying that to some young kids. They're like, oh, I've heard of John Jones like he was Muhammad Ali or something.
Yep.
Like this was the martial artist. I mean, maybe we got to witness that with Anderson Silva, and now with Conor McGregor. Maybe
we'll Conor McGregor's the biggest thing.
We got to witness the spectacle of Conor McGregor. I won't say greatest of all time yet, but we got to witness the spectacle of Ronda Rousey. Like we were in that. And
we'll be telling our children about that.
Yeah,
like my
MMA,
dad. My dad never watched boxing, but he tells me about when he always tuned in for the Mike Tyson's fight.
Yeah,
Mike Tyson fights.
Mike Tyson,
and then when you have when we have kids, it'll be like, yo. The Conor McGregor era, the Ronda Rousey era,
your
the
kids
John
are
Jones
UFC.
era. Yeah. Oh, it's so I hear
you want the greats to be great.
Yeah.
You want them to be just these people were unstoppable, but at the same time, as a person,
you want to see him get dethroned sometimes too.
And you look at DC, he's 19-0 if he never fought John Jones. This dude's undefeated, and I don't know, but I just give it to John Jones. I don't know what aspect of fighting DC has him in. It's not doesn't have him in stand up at all.
I don't know how can DC win this fight?
Again, takedown defense. John Jones 94.6%. Like
DC took him down,
and he pulled guard, so they counted that.
And DC took him down once. John Jones got up in 10 seconds.
Yeah, and when he gets down, he gets up as soon as he wants.
Right,
and those are those long limbs, man.
Yep.
He's 5 inches taller, got a 12-inch reach advantage. Like, man, that's just and those limbs, and he's looking shredded.
He looks. Shredded.
The thing I noticed most was his arms. His arms just got so much bigger. Not that that's necessarily something that will benefit him. I mean, boxer, you want big shoulders, to throw from. But man, he's cut. He is in good ass shape, and it's not DC's fault. You're 40. You're way out of your prime of being in shape, and
I just don't see how DC can win. I just don't see how DC can get the win.
I don't either. If he wins, it has to be a submission. He's not winning decision. He's not winning by knockout,
and he's not winning by submission. So
maybe he wins knockout. I don't know.
No,
that's probably more likely than him winning submission.
Probably, yeah. His best bet is decision.
Knockout is always
his best decision. His best way to win is a decision.
No, it's not. Though. He's not taking him down for a long
period
of time.
Just dominate, like control. Where? No control. I don't know.
On the cage?
No, I'm just saying. Maybe. This is how doubtful I am that DC wins. I'm just saying.
You think it's a decision is most likely way of winning?
Yeah, I don't think John Jones is going to tap. John Jones doesn't have power. He's not. I mean. For DC, he's not knocking out DC.
I don't know. He could TKO him.
I'd say
he could TKO him with elbows from on top.
I think John Jones will decision DC, but if I had to pick a second thing, it would be John Jones by submission. I just hear submission game has gotten legit. I don't know. I honestly, I'm more interested to see.
I think John Jones wins by TKO most likely.
Wow. Okay.
Dude, his
That's
elbows,
The bows
You should
are
watch
good.
the sports science on him.
His elbows are legit, but
It's freak.
DC's not a he's not going to take risks. He's not a risk taker. And if John Jones is elbowing you, you're kind of moving in and letting John Jones elbow you. But I don't know. I don't know. What do you have John Jones by? I got him by decision. You think he'll win by decision too?
TKO.
Wow. What round?
Fourth or third. I think
Wow.
Fourth or third.
That's
middle
ballsy.
of the fight. I mean, Cormier just hasn't fought anybody like him in a while. John Jones has good training partners. He's at a good facility. Man, he's got the range. Like, he can just hold his hand out, and Cormier can't hit him if his hand is touching Cormier's head. And he can just come in with a straight or an uppercut or whatever he wants. And he's just that natural guy, even when he wasn't a super athlete. Even when he wasn't shredded like he is now, hitting that weight regimen, he was just kind of going in and fighting from what it sounded like from some of his interviews. I was just kind of going in and fighting. He's just so athletic. I mean, both his brothers are in the NFL. I mean, you've got some good genes. You got some good genes behind you, so I don't know. I just
the odds are on his side.
Honestly, the odds should be a little more stacked, but I like that they're giving respect to DC. And,
Me too.
Because DC is a brawler, dude. He's just...
I wouldn't say a brawler, but
I wouldn't say brawler either. Warrior. I would say warrior.
Yeah, he's tough.
Yeah. He's not like a brawler. He's not going to stand and bang with you, but dude knows how to win. He's very tactical.
I think it is...
He knows what he needs to do, and he's... I don't know. I'm worried he might be a little desperate for a takedown, and that could result in some powerful knees or elbows. And
I'm just shocked that the UFC hasn't promoted this as one of the top 2 or top 3 pound for pound fighters going at it. I mean, you don't hear that. Like, we're talking, like, in my opinion, like I said, this is number 2 versus number 3 pound for pound, and this is one of the greatest fights.
Yeah, they're messing up on marketing.
Yeah, they're messing up on marketing, but on paper, not that we're both easily picking John Jones, but on paper, this is easily the best fight the UFC can put on this year, because we're talking about the 2 greats right now going at it. But
even at heavyweight, how many people could you name could beat these 2 guys?
Yeah,
like out of all the UFC fighters, how many guys could stack up against these 2? I couldn't name maybe less than a handful. I could name less than 4 guys I think could beat either of these men.
You think if John Jones wins, he calls out Brock Lesnar?
Absolutely. If he's smart, even if he has a good manager, he does. Absolutely. That's an easy fight. Well, I mean,
great payday.
We'll get to that. The best payday he's ever seen. So, and the easiest night of work he's ever seen, honestly.
I'm sure. I think you're not giving Brock Lesnar enough respect. I just want to see. Selfishly, I want to see John Jones win just so he can fight Brock Lesnar, because that is...
So, all right. So your pick is...
Oh, John Jones, easy. But by decision. By decision.
By decision. Right.
Yeah.
John Jones by TKO.
I think DC will win a round, maybe 2. 49-46 is my...
He won a round last fight. So
he won a round last fight.
We'll see.
I think it'll be the same, but I don't... Yeah, that's what my heart says is... but I'll give DC...
I would like a decision for DC to just be like, all right, he never finished me, but I think I could see a TKO with a combo of elbows and just punches from the top. But I'm
just worried it could be a long pay-per-view, because I mean, Cyborg might finish Tanya Evinger early, but I can see Cerrone
225.
I can see Cerrone Lawler being 3 rounds. I can see the co-main and the main event being 5 rounds. So it could be a long night.
Wow, I don't see Lawler Cerrone going 5 rounds.
I don't know.
3. Well, it's not going 5 rounds. So
Robbie Lawler goes all rounds if he doesn't get finishes often. So
Robbie Lawler doesn't get finishes.
Look it up recently. He doesn't. Decisions against Johnny Hendricks and whatnot. So and Cerrone, I don't know. I just think. I just think having three title fights sounds good on paper, But when it comes to the fight, it could be a disaster because we could see a lot of fights, a lot of time fighting. So, talking recently with Robbie.
How recently? What are you saying?
Last few fights.
How many's few?
3 or 4.
All right.
Got decisions.
Last 4, 2 decisions, both split, and then he got knocked out by Tyron.
Yeah.
Knocked out Rory.
Yeah.
TKO'd Rory.
Oh yeah, but that went to the 5th round. But it was.
Yeah,
good.
he's got a decision, Matt Brown. That's not great, but it was unanimous. So
yeah.
Damn. Yeah,
well,
I guess we
got our
see about our 2 fights. Yeah,
we'll have to see. We disagree on 2 of them. So
I'm winning Robbie Lawler fight, and then Tyron's kind of 50-50 for me. So
yeah, I'm pretty confident.
I think I could emerge with it. I could tie it up this weekend. So
I think we'll find out. We're going to be doing these podcasts once a week. Definitely recapping this fight early next week, but yeah, we'll have to see who's the guy on top. I mean, I have a 2-2 advantage right now, but yeah, we'll have to see what happens after this weekend. I can't wait though; it'll be good. We're going to be watching the Buffalo Wild Wings. So
from Evansville, Indiana,
checking that place out for the first time.
So if you're in the area.
But
seriously, if you're in the area,
tune in or come out. But yeah, we'll have probably 3 listeners this episode. But you know what? I'm glad that we started this. We're an hour and a half in. Here we are. So
do we have one more topic or Jones Lesnar? Maybe.
No.
I
thought we'd retouch it. So I thought we'd more wait till see what happens if John Jones wins and see what happens.
He has to win first, but
thought we'd just touch on it just a tiny bit. So yeah,
cool.
But man, this has been a great episode. What'd you think of this one?
Pretty chill. I'm feeling pretty good.
Kind of good on these.
Check out these Steel Reserves 2-on-1.
Steel Reserve all day. 8.1%.
8.1%. You have 3 or 4 at your pregame, play a game of FIFA. I don't know, whatever your thing is, Madden. if you're into UFC, which is probably kind of likely given you're listening to this.
If you're still listening and you're not into UFC, what are you doing here?
What are you doing? Yeah. What are you looking for? But yeah, if you're pregame to anything, try the Steel Reserve. It's never failed us.
It's never failed us, and we're always feeling good. So. But tune in next week. We'll be recapping 214 and just talking about UFC rumors. It's still, I don't want to bring up Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor till 2 weeks before. So we still got a couple weeks before then. Maybe if something crazy happens. But yeah, I can't wait to recap 214. But man. I'm very happy we finally got this podcast started. I've been wanting to do this for a year now, and then I just was putting it off, and I'm like, why the fuck aren't we starting this? So why not start it now? And then here we are 4 days later starting it off. So this has been the first episode of the MMA On Tap podcast. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Peace.